host Danny, here to guide the way with a big smile. She brightens up your day, fills up your day. Good morning, Frederick, rise and shine. City so lively, gotta make it mine. From downtown streets to the Carroll Creek view, there's something special here, you feel it too. Good morning, Frederick, rise and shine. A city so lively, gotta make it mine. From downtown streets to the Carroll Creek view, there's something special here, you feel it too. Your host Andy, here to guide the way with a big smile. She brightens up your day, fills up your day. Good morning, Frederick, rise and shine, a city so light.
Hi, this is Sherry from Retro Metro, and you're watching Good Morning Frederick.
Good morning, Frederick. Today is Wednesday, May 21st. I'm your host, Danny Gurry. Well, it's not a great day weather-wise, and it's I'm sure Chris is going to give us that whole update coming up soon, but I do have my Terps gear on. UMD's graduation, which was scheduled for today, has been postponed to tomorrow, or rescheduled to tomorrow, their original rain date. And Ash and I will be heading down to congratulate our son Cooper and the amazing young men that he has met. I do have to say one thing, it's really kind of interesting, and I talked about this yesterday, but Cooper, when he was accepted to Maryland, it was his school of choice, and we're very excited. Obviously, great that it was close enough for us. The first rule I made for him as a freshman is that you can't come home unless your friends are going home. And most of the people he met as a freshman were from New York, Philadelphia, New Jersey, way out of, they weren't driving home on the weekends. And so he followed that advice. He met some of the best young men his freshman year. And I wish I could share pictures, but I just downloaded a bunch of pictures that they took in front of Ellicott Hall, which is where he first lived at Maryland. Now, I didn't go to college. I went a year or so to FCC. My husband did not go to an American university in Australia. University is a little bit different, but he didn't graduate either, right? Neither of us has lived in a dorm. Here we are with Cooper as a freshman heading to UMD. Very excited for him. I was probably more excited because I was living vicariously. We get to Ellicott. It's August. It's 90 degrees. I believe he was on the 7th floor. No AC. No AC. There was no AC. There was AC in just the common room, which there was a common room on every floor. So if you can imagine, Ash and I trying to set stuff up. It is literally 100 degrees and we're sweating and we're frustrated and we're trying to put stuff together in a literal 10 by 10 room that he was sharing with somebody else. And I thought, holy cow, how is he ever going to survive? And not only did he survive, even with a terrible roommate, he did not know the kid that he was rooming with. They kind of met on one of those Instagram groups. But his roommate was awful. Just not a good roommate. And again, I was terrified because I'd read on all these groups, these parents like, oh my gosh, my kid wants to drop out because their roommate's terrible. Here is what happened though. And we just told him to hang in there. I did at one point think I needed to intervene, but Cooper went to the RA and all of that. But because there was no air conditioning, all of the kids on the floor would hang out in the common room. Brilliant, because that's where he met about 10 young men, many of whom he is still friends with. So that was number one. And I have to shout out, and they don't watch the show, but I'm going to make them watch this part. RJ and Hardick, who basically took Cooper in because Cooper's roommate was so terrible. So Cooper basically kind of lived with them in their little tiny room as well and hung out with them the whole time. So I guess the moral is the fact that he had no AC in his room. If he did, he may not have hung out in the common room. He may not have met all of these people. And secondly, the funny story is my cousin's son had just graduated from University of South Carolina, and we were all hanging out, and he told Cooper, "You should join a fraternity." And Cooper's like, "Oh, that's for the South." This is as Cooper was just getting ready to enter his freshman year. It wasn't, I think, a couple of months later, Cooper calls and says, "Hey, Mom, I'm joining a fraternity." And I thought, great, that's awesome. Because my advice to Cooper was going to college for me was 30% about the schooling, the grades, the academic. I told him 70% is being social, meeting people, networking with your professors, networking with other students, getting to know them, because these will be your people for life. Again, not having attended college, but having a lot of friends who did. I'm telling you, the college friends and roommates, etc., are their friends right now, 30 years later. So anyway, he did follow that advice. He has some of the best people, and I love them, and I love their parents, and I'm just so excited and happy that he had an amazing 4 years at the University of Maryland. All right, that's it for that, but I just want to wish them all the freaking best. This is the next step in the journey of their lives for sure. All right, saying hello to Mama Cone. She's on this morning. Tara Flannery is here as well. Happy Wednesday. And Christy Wood, our good friend from Wags for Hope, is here as well. Yeah, Tara, it is. I just am very proud. Both Ash and I are, of course. All right. I've got to get this rolling because Bob's in the studio. So we're going to get right to our open and then right to Bob Miller. Well, I was blathering on so long, I didn't even tell you what was happening on the show, but we got Bob Miller. We're going to highlight some of the events, of course, and we got Tom Neumark, who's a local citizen who didn't just complain about things in Frederick. He got involved years ago and is trying to make a change. And, of course, your Good Morning Frederick merch purchases benefit Big Tree Memorial Fund. But we couldn't do this show without Rita's Italian Ice and Frozen Custard of Frederick. All right, it might be crappy out today, but there is no reason not to have Rita's. They're open daily, noon to 9. If you don't want to stand in the rain, it's no problem. They can be delivered right to you through Grubhub, DoorDash, and Uber Eats, or just download that free app. Order, drive up, go to that side window. You're only hopping out of the car for a couple of seconds, picking up your order, and heading back home. I love it so much. All right, Bob Miller's waiting. Here we go. Morning Roundup is sponsored by Auto Trim Design of Mid-Maryland. Window tinting, paint protection film, ceramic coating, vinyl wraps like on the Good Morning Frederick car. Also, customized leather upholstered car seats. They can take care of all your aftermarket enhancements. Auto Trim Design of Mid-Maryland, accessories for any lifestyle. Find them on Urbana Pike or at autotrim-md.com. Hello, my friend. I know, I'm blathering this morning.
Oh, Ash. Oh, my goodness. Congratulations going out to him. That's fantastic. And you can hear it in a proud mama's voice right there. So, I used to hang out with a bunch of older kids, and they all went down to University of Maryland. And so I would hang out with them down there. And I'm like, I don't want to pay at that time probably $9,000. I'm like, I'm not going to pay $9,000 to sit around and drink beer and do other things. I'll just go home and do that and work for a living. So yeah, I didn't go to college either. So
Yeah.
I get that. But
Well,
it's
it's
not for
funny
everybody.
because back in our day, University of Maryland was your fallback school. That was the like FCC of, the
You-
universities. Now it's hard to get into Maryland. I would have never gotten in. There's no way in today's
oh
standards. But
yeah,
yeah, I
me
didn't.
either.
A few of my friends did get on academic probation at Maryland for just the beer drinking and not studying. And of course, I went down there several times as well to visit the VU and have the fun, and then come
Yes,
back and work.
yes. You
And
don't know what your feet were sticking to when you walk through the view.
oh gosh, yeah, I couldn't even imagine. I'm sad it doesn't exist anymore, but boy, yeah,
Yeah, those floors could talk. Yeah.
yeah,
So, hey, it's just you and I today. That's good. And
it is.
did you see my cat walking through the shot there earlier? Yeah.
I didn't, but
Oh.
Remy typically will be jumping up in the
Yeah, right
window,
there.
making sure he gets attention too.
Yeah, it is a ugly day. Remember, if your headlights are on, if your windshield wipers are on, your headlights have to be on. That it's Maryland state law, though people don't enforce it or do it. And then, of course, I asked Chuck Jenkins the other day, Mike, how often do you pull somebody over for that? He goes, to be honest with you, Bob, that's a battle that we've lost. So, I don't know why it's on the books,
Yeah.
but it isn't on the books. But
But it's just for safety. I love that the most newer cars, they're automatically on. I like that because even in the daytime when it's bright sunny out, sometimes I
mhm.
see the cars better when their headlights are on. So
Yep, absolutely. And just slow down a little bit when it gets raining like this. Even though we've had a lot of rain, the roads aren't as slick after, you haven't had a lot of rain. You got a lot of oil and stuff and tire goo and it's just slow down.
well, here's my thing too. I'm downtown a lot, obviously now with the shop down there, so I'm walking around down there. If you're in a car and it's raining out, stop for the people crossing the street. Don't make a stand on the corner, even if whatever is happening. I mean, obviously I'm following the little blinking light, but sometimes I have to stop and somebody will still go. And I think, you know what? You're dry in your car and I'm standing out here getting drowned like a rat. And try not to hit those puddles right next to the street when people are walking.
That's exactly what I do. Hit the puddles. You're stupid enough to be walking outside in the rain. You're going to get wet, folk. No, I'm not that.
Can't do that now because my face is on the side of the car and they'll know it's me. I can't hide.
That's right. You can't hide. Maybe that's a good thing, Danny. Maybe that's a good thing. Well, speaking of downtown, Chris isn't here, but speaking of downtown, if you want to rent a park spot in Carroll Creek or other parts, the city of Frederick increased the fees for parking, towing, airport, and more. Let's see, they have a resident and a non-resident fee. So cost of the monthly Carroll Creek service lot and parking garages are going up from $102 to $107 a month. If you want to rent a large pavilion, that's gone up from $50 to $75. If you're a non-resident, it's going to rise from $100 to $150. Medium pavilion is set from $30 to $45, $60 to $90 for non-residents. Small pavilion will increase from $20 to $30, and then $40 to $60. Now that's if you want to be at the Monocacy Village Park. Park rates, Staley Park Pavilion set from $75 to $110 for city residents and $150 to $220 for non-residents.
Wow.
I know, right? That seems to be a bit excessive, but
it is excessive considering there's no walls. That you got a roof over your head and you're in a park. Wow.
I am kind of wondering what they're going to charge the homeless for sleeping on top of some of those picnic tables, if they charge them or not.
Right.
I don't know.
A little IOU.
Yeah, right.
Wow. That's a lot, I think. Okay, here are my questions, and I know you probably can't answer them, but is there such an enormous demand for them that we have the capacity, or is now no one's going to actually officially rent? They're just going to show up and fist fight over who was there first.
Well, Chris was bringing that up during the show this morning, talking about, well, hey, we pay taxes. Why shouldn't these be free? And I'm like, well, because then people will just show up, and then you send out Ash's graduation party that you're going to have down at Staley Park, and that somebody's taking your pavilion. So you have to have the ability to register to rent, and I guess the cleanup and the taking away the trash and things of that nature. I mean, I just think it's a little bit excessive. And of course, obviously, if you don't live in the city of Frederick, then they really hammer you.
Yeah.
You can vote. You can vote if you're a non-resident. But
yeah. Well,
yeah.
I tell you what, maybe as a city resident, I should just put myself out there as a, hey, I'll just charge you a little bit extra, and I'll book it for you, and we'll all make a little bit.
There you go. There's I think we've rented a pavilion or two in our lifetime, but nothing major. But I mean, there are people who love to have, picnics in the park and have gatherings, once a week or something. So,
well, here's the thing with all the high density housing, townhouses, apartments, condos, and that in Frederick, it's hard if you want to have a graduation party to do it in if you have a small space. So
yeah.
I get why people want to do it. But at $200 for a pavilion, my thing is, for just a little bit more, you can have a room in a restaurant like at Brewer's Alley or above 10th Ward or, the Delaplane isn't that much more, to be honest. So, yeah
then of course, obviously you have the costs of food and beverage and things of that nature where, I guess if you're in a room, you might have to buy from them. You're not able to bring in your own. So
yeah, the Delaplane, no, you can bring in all your own food at, whatever. But anyway, yeah, neither here nor there. I guess,
all right. Here's the other story that we talked about this morning. I thought was interesting. Governor Wes Moore on Tuesday approved several bills. One of those local bills included measures to decriminalize the spread of HIV. Study of the availability of in-home nurses also for newborns and require advance notice before medical records can be destroyed. So the push to repeal the HIV to knowingly transfer or attempt to transfer HIV to another person began more than a decade ago. Delegate Chris Fair said that in a telephone interview, and he said that they have long argued that the law contributes to stigma, which can discourage people from disclosing their HIV status to others and seeking testing or treatment for the virus. Now, I don't know why having that, would not make you disclose that. Isn't that just being a human saying, hey, I have a disease.
Decency,
right.
Human decency.
Right.
So I feel like, I hear what Chris Fair is saying, like, because it's a criminal thing that there might be a stigma, but this disease could kill somebody. Like,
well, we talked about the advancements of back in the day when it was first became prevalent, it was a death sentence. It's not now. But
it's medication, and
right.
you're forever have health issues because it's an autoimmune disorder. So it leads to other things. So,
and that's what Chris said too, was that the price
While
of your
it doesn't
medication
kill you immediately, or it's not like it was in the 80s. It's still a life sentence for the person on the receiving end of that. So. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't even know how many convictions there were for that, or what that is. I just think be human, be decent. Literally, if you have any disease that can be transferred to somebody else, you should let people know. I think
it's just being a human, and I get it. I understand what Delegate Fair was trying to do. I mean, you don't throw somebody in jail for it. But maybe, there's I don't know if there's a fine or something. That would be the only one.
My feeling is make them do some sort of community service where they have to speak out or talk to people who have received the disease through a partner that didn't disclose it. You know what I mean? Like maybe the compassion side or maybe the education side is where we should go with that. Not criminal. No, we shouldn't put people in jail. But at the same time, there should be some sort of consequence if you know you are infected and you're not disclosing it.
Right.
That's all.
And I think that that's where people, and I think most people are fairly honest and would be like, hey, I'm HIV positive, and then
Yeah.
go there. I mean, some people will be like, okay, no big deal. We'll use protection, whatever. But
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of being normal. It's just kind of being a
Kind of be.
normal person.
We
And
just want people to be normal.
just normal would be nice. Just be nice.
Common sense and normal.
Common sense. All right, let's talk about the weather out there. It's yucky. That is a meteorological term. It's yucky. The rain should stop in about an hour, they say, according to the weather reports. But it looks like we're going to have fairly decent weekend. Fingers crossed, because we don't want bad weather for all of our barbecues and whatnot, and the days off and things of that nature. So we're looking for that. I'm trying to find the forecast is giving me all kinds of fun stuff, but not the really good stuff. So temperatures today only in the 50s, 56 for your high, which is where we are right now. For tomorrow, 62, and there are some rain showers, but 52 for your low, and a possibility of some rain happening tomorrow. Clearing up a little bit on Friday, 63. Gonna be a bit, I'm thinking that we should have a little bit warmer weather for Memorial Day weekend, but 62, 66 for the big Memorial Day parade out in Woodsboro, and a high of 66, 50 for your low. Monday's going to be, that's when it starts to warm up, 69. So looking pretty decent for next week, not this week. So Monday, your day off on Memorial Day, right? We're not working on Memorial Day, right?
We are not.
Okay, just want to make sure. Hey, Congratulations going out to the Middletown boys. They were down by 7 in the second half, battled back to tie the game, and then Connor Herman scored with 9.2 seconds left to give the Knights the Class 1A Boys Lacrosse Championship for the state of Maryland. So congratulations going out to them.
Awesome.
Very good. The ladies from Middletown, though, they fell short of their goal. They lost to South Carroll by a score of 13-5. Other teams, baseball, Oakdale's run falls short in the Class 3A semifinals. They fell to Chopticon. I hope I say that right. I don't know. 4-1. Oakdale had a great season, but ends in the semifinals. Class 4A semifinals, Urbana took Broadneck. They had to go into 13 innings. Billy Swaney and DJ Strom delivered RBI base hits in the top of the 13th. And then Landon Lee closed it out with the win at Shirley Povich Field to send the Hawks to the state championship game for the second time in 3 years. They'll face Walter Johnson on Friday at 6 p.m. at Prince George's Stadium in Bowie. Catoctin still rolls in the Class 1A semifinals in softball. They defeated Boonesboro by a score of 3-0. Orioles, of course, they lost 8 in a row now, 5-2 to the Milwaukee Brewers. Nationals beat the Braves 5-3 on Tuesday night. And there you go. Kurt Busch made it into the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
There you go. Well, Oakdale has good news. They could probably beat the Orioles right now. Maybe we should have them play them.
Maybe they can call them up and say, hey, we've got a whole new team here. And it's quick. It's funny how fast they are turning on the Orioles. I love the Orioles. I'll always be an Orioles fan. I love them to death. I want them to win. But, they're already talking about, well, they should give up on Adley Rushman and all these guys who they just touted. Give them a break. Let them, everybody goes into a slump. Everybody has bad timing. The Orioles have horrible pitching, and they've had a lot of injuries. And it's not the coach's fault. He's just given the players that they tell him to play with. So maybe management needed to open up their pocketbooks a little bit more and kept some of those good pitchers who have gone elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, too, just in an organizational or leadership role, this is when true leaders rise up. When things are crappy and you need that momentum and you need that shift in mental attitude or whatever it is, there has to be something that starts to rise up. Otherwise, it's going to be a long, long summer, really, for them. They got to figure it out. And it's easy to blame and point fingers and and all of that. But you're right. The management can only do what they can do, what they've been given. But yeah, there's got to be something that rises from the ashes for this.
Circle the wagons a bit. Okay, so here's what happens with these. I mean, you got to remember a lot of these kids, 21, 22, 23, 24. I mean, they're just kids, and and where they were winning, now all of a sudden everybody wants a piece of them. Yeah. Maybe you just sit there as a team and go, okay, you know what, guys? I know you've got a lot going on your plates, but let's focus on baseball a little bit. Stop with all the outside distractions and focus on baseball. And, get somebody up there who takes one for the team, gets hit beamed by the baseball so we can go to fight each other and stand up for each other. I think that's what's going to help the Orioles.
Throw down. That's what we're gonna have for next game.
Yeah, you need the goon like from the hockey squad, right? You need that guy.
Right. Let's mix a little hockey in with our baseball.
Right, there you go.
All right, my friend. All right, have a great day. We will see you later.
All right, see ya. Good morning, Frederick.
Oh boy, how funny. All right, we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to be back with what is happening in Frederick. We're going to give you a highlight of some of your events. And following that, we're going to talk with Tom Neumark, a local citizen who's gotten involved to make change. And that's what we like. Even if you don't like the change that these people are representing, at least they're getting out there and getting involved. And that's how we make an impact on our community. Okay, all of that is coming up just after this.
At Mid-Atlantic Chiropractic, we understand how pain can hold you back. We're here to understand what you're going through. For a limited time, you can schedule your first visit for just $50. Give us a call and mention Good Morning Frederick, and let's get you feeling better.
Who's always wanted to go to Alaska? Well, that's me. And I'm putting together a trip June 9th through June 20th of 2026. I would love for you to join me working together with Antietam World Travel Service to put together an amazing itinerary featuring both land and sea. We're going to see all the great stuff you see when you go to Alaska. I promise it's going to be a lot of fun. Go to bit.ly/Alaska2 for more information.
Cosmec Healing handcrafted small batch tinctures and transdermal salves, double third-party tested for quality you can trust. If you've got pain, headaches, or anxiety, our products are here to help you find relief. Patient over profits mindset, 'cause we're patients too. CosmecHealing.com.
Real estate goddess, yeah. She's the one to get you there. Homes and dreams are perfect, yeah. Shattered family beyond compare.
All right, if you're looking for a way to make a big splash on the big screen, reach out to Warehouse Cinemas advertising at warehousecinemas.com or warehousecinemas.com/advertising. I'm on the big screen there, and I'm telling you, once a week I get a text or somebody says to me, hey, I saw you when I was at Warehouse Cinemas. Thousands of locals go, and it's a great way to reach them right there, right before the big movie starts. All right, let's talk about what is happening in Frederick. Happening in Frederick is sponsored by Intense Barbecue, family-owned barbecue food truck and catering company, cooking in small batches to make sure when you get the food, it's as fresh as it can possibly be. You can find them at intensebarbecue.com. When you have their food, you will satisfy your meat tooth. And remember, for the graduations, Father's Day, summer barbecues, cookouts, if you're having a party and you don't want to slave on the stove or be the grill master, reach out to Rob and Robin at Intense Barbecue. They do all sorts of catering. Doesn't have to be barbecue. It could be filet mignon or chicken Chesapeake or hamburgers and hot dogs. And they do amazing taco bars. So you can choose whatever you want. It's very, very cool. IntenseBarbecue.com. All right, here we go. Souls of Joy. While you're out and about shopping those Memorial Day sales, pay attention if there's some clearance that you see on shoes. If you can pick them up, awesome. You can drop them off to the Home of Everything Frederick or the Orioles Nest or the Family Heritage Trust. Or text me a photo of where you're shopping so I can scooch over there and pick up the shoes on sale. If you can donate to me through Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, or Zelle, very appreciative of even $5. If you are a business and you need it all official with a tax receipt and acknowledgement of your donation, then let me know. We can make sure you get everything you need. We're also looking for sponsors for our Souls of Joy event happening August 8th. And that's going to be fun. 300 people at the Arc on Market Street, live music and food and bev included. It's going to be a great time. So just let me know if you want to be a part of that. And we put shoes on thousands of Frederick County students. That's the ultimate reason we do these events. Okay, coming up tomorrow, live at 5, $6 cover, 21 and up to get in. It's 90s nostalgia, shake the room. And also at 6 p.m., A6 Blue Jean Mile for mental health awareness is happening at Prospect Point Brewery. Friday, the 23rd, final home game for the Frederick Flying Cows. There is an after party at Sandbox Brew House, which will probably go from about 10 to midnight. So 7 p.m. at Hood is the final home game for your Frederick Flying Cows. Now I think they've only lost 2 games regular season. So fingers crossed we'll get a playoff game here, but just to be sure, you want to be there on the 23rd. GoFlyingCows.com for your tickets. May 24th, which is Saturday, join me at Climbing for a Cause. I'll be out there from noon to 2. Get your tickets now at treetrekkersmd.com. Actually, beautiful weather to be climbing in the trees this weekend. Also, the beneficiary, Girls on the Run, will be out there. There'll be raffles with tickets for just $1, and you can win some great prizes. Come on out and join me. 11 to 1, the WFRE is going to be at the Frederick Keys Fan Fest at Harry Grove Stadium. This is your opportunity to visit the stadium. Kids can go in the entertainment area. I believe that you can play catch in the outfield and even get a free hot dog, chips, and a soda, I believe. All of that happens on Saturday from 11 to 1. And then 11 to 4, of course, we have our pop-up vendor event at the Home of Everything Frederick. This weekend, it's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We will be have awesome vendors set up for you to shop at. On Saturday, we've got Pampered Chef Mary Kay and my friend Tina from the Queen Bee Collection will have her candles that look like food and drink, like that pie at the bottom underneath that Flying Cows logo. That's a candle. And it smells as good as it looks. Let me just tell you. On the 25th, on Sunday, our pop-up vendor event from 11 to 4 features permanent jewelry and 3D printed gifts, crafts, and handmade jewelry as well. Then on Monday, we have our friend Gretchen Made It. She's got custom designed gifts, laser cut and engraved. It can be custom done. Tina's going to also have, again, more of her candles. Again, look at those. That whiskey, that is a candle. And that fruit, those are all candles. They're wax melts. They're adorable, and they smell amazing. And then my good friend Shannon from the Healing Storm is going to have her apothecary room sprays and oils, infused oils, and we'll be doing chair massages. Those things, even for 5 minutes, amazing. Then starting on Tuesday, it's the Thermont Community Ambulance Carnival at the Thermont Event Complex. You can get your Ride All Night bands. I think they're $20 at local Thermont shops like Wise Markets, Woodsboro Bank, I think. And I think Thermont Country Kitchen has them as well. But you're going to want to check Thermont Community Ambulance's Facebook page for details on all of that, because nothing worse than trying to buy ride tickets. Get those wristbands for sure. And then coming up at the end of the month, which I can't even believe we're already talking about. I mean, this month ends in 10 days. It is craziness. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the 29th, you got your 4th annual Senior Resource and Education Fair presented by SOAR. It is at FCC. It's free. You get a free boxed lunch, and you can meet a bunch of different companies who have resources for our seniors. Then at 5, and then of course it's live at 5 that evening, and then at 5:30 that afternoon as well. Discover Civitan. They're going to be in the Monocacy Village Park Pavilion on Delaware Drive. That is right off Northeast Street. There will be light refreshments, and you get to learn about what Civitan does in our community. All are welcome there. May 31st, the last day of the month, is Run Like a Warrior Family Fun Run and Walk. It is any time from 9 to 11 a.m. You can scooch right in at 10:45. Pay your $15, which is your donation to the Lyme Run. Yes, the Leaf Foundation, which educates people on Lyme and ticks and all that great stuff. And then it's about a 1.5-mile walk through the beautiful campus of Hood College, and there'll be some raffles as well. 10 to 5 on the 31st is City of Brunswick Spring Fest with live music, vendors, food, and activities. And noon to 3 is Mount Pleasant's Ruritan Club Community Day with some free food and ice cream. Then we're straight into June. Our next carnival is the 4 County Lions Club Carnival. And June 5th is Touch a Truck at the Frederick Fairgrounds. I want you to come out and enjoy that event with me. If you've got kids who love trucks, you don't even have to have kids. Maybe you just love to see them. We're going to have a mechanical bull with free rides, thanks to Good Morning Frederick and Shannon Flannery, the real estate goddess of Maurer Realty, the founder of Everything Frederick and More, and the founder of the Home of Everything Frederick, which is at 401 North Market Street. Now, you're going to want to come out, and we're going to have some amazing t-shirts that you may have the ability to win or get. We'll have details at our booth. And from 2 to 3 at that event is quiet hour. So if you have a child or you yourself don't like a lot of the overstimulation of loud noise and all of that, come out to that event between 2 and 3 o'clock on June 5th. All right. That is it for what is happening in Frederick, your highlight. And of course, you can get more details if you click on the link on this podcast. If you have an event you want included on the calendar, email it to everythingfredericklive@gmail.com or send it to me through social media. If you want me to talk about your event, I can do that as well. Just $25 for 5 days, $40 for 10 days. Simple, simple. All right, one more quick break, then we're back with Tom Neumark. Oh, I didn't push the right button. Here we go. I got it.
Hi, I'm Devin, your friendly neighborhood shower door expert. Upgrade your bathroom with a beautiful glass shower door, custom fit to accent your space and make getting into your shower one of the highlights of your day. Come see us at our brand new showroom in Frederick, Maryland, or online at showerdoorexperts.com.
Experience an unforgettable vacation at the Salty Seahorse on the 4x4 beach in Corolla, North Carolina. Enjoy the pool, relax in the hot tub, fish, and kayak right off the private dock. The Salty Seahorse will be your forever vacation home. Go to thesaltyseahorse2201.com. Have you been looking outside your house and thinking, oh my gosh, I need to replace my roof and look at my siding? Well, A&S Construction is a local and award-winning woman and minority-owned business, and they're right here in Frederick, servicing Frederick County and beyond. A&S Construction specialize in roofing and siding, but if you've also got some drafty windows or you want a new patio or deck, they can do that as well. Or you can have them come out and do what I did here at our house, where I had them put on that grating on top of your gutters to keep. We've got a lot of big trees near us, thanks to our lovely neighbors. And I love the trees in the shade, and the debris is what gets me. And it was clogging our gutters. So I gave Sandra a call. She sent her team right out. They put on that metal topping, and we haven't had problems since. I'm telling you, those clogged gutters can cause so many problems, bigger than you ever know, because at the house Mama Cone purchased, the gutters were leaking and they're not great. And it's flooding because the water's going straight down through the foundation and into the home. So you don't want that to happen. Call 301-703-2157 or send an email, info@ansconstruction.net. Remember, just tell Sandra you saw her on Good Morning Frederick. You save $750 off any roof or siding replacement, or $50 off any roof repairs. Okay, we're now going to talk about People of Frederick. People of Frederick is sponsored by the Healing Storm Holistic Wellness. This is Shannon and her team. They're going to be at the Home of Everything Frederick this weekend on Monday. They make sure you're seen, heard, and valued. The Healing Storm focuses on alternative holistic healing methods to relieve your stress and pain. They do massage therapy, Reiki, lymphatic massage. They have a head massage thing that you might have to ask for because it was on special, but I have to get that next time. Check out thehealingstorm.com for more details and to schedule your appointment today. All right, one thing I always talk about is you can't complain if you don't vote and you don't get involved. And this man has taken getting involved to a new level. Here's Tom Neumark. Well, I'd like to welcome Tom Neumark to Good Morning Frederick, a concerned citizen, very involved in kind of all things Board of Education, and we're going to talk about that now. Welcome to Good Morning Frederick, Tom.
Thanks so much for having me. Glad to be here.
Well, there seems to be a lot of stuff happening at the Board of Education, and I know you're going to kind of give us the high-level view. What, we've had some new people join. This was an election year for Board of Education. We brought in a few new people. So what is happening with FCPS?
Sure. So just recently, there's been another controversy over that policy 443 that allows boys into girls' bathrooms and on their sports teams. And there's a dad that is scheduled to speak tonight about it. In addition to some issues with that another parent, I should say another substitute teacher, raised last meeting, which was books in the library that were highly sexually explicit. She read it aloud. She was very shocked as a substitute teacher to find that this book was in our library. So that plus the overall just academic challenges that Frederick County Public Schools are facing. We have a 75% failure rate in Algebra 1 right now across the board. And when you dig into different groups, different ethnicities, 90% of the Hispanic students are failing that course, which is really sad. So a lot of stuff to talk about and just a lot of need for improvement in our local schools.
Yeah. And I mean, look, I think, one of the things I've always said is that, the more involved you become in not only your own school through the PTA and through other volunteering, but certainly with Board of Education, it's so important if you can to advocate for your child, because on the broad sense, no one is doing it. And once you start digging in, you realize there may be some things happening that, you wouldn't want to happen in the public school system. I know a lot of people who have pulled their kids into private school because of some of these policies and the lack for FCPS to sometimes even listen to other parents' views and even trying to shut down some of the Board of Education members, it's disappointing and a little disheartening. So,
It is.
what can Frederick, citizens of Frederick do, whether or not even they have children in Frederick County Public Schools? It's so important if you want a good community that the schools are raising good kids, or not raising, giving a good basis for some of our students.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is to find other like-minded parents. Certainly folks can contact me through you and start to realize that a lot of parents have the same concerns. Often what happens is a parent will raise a concern to someone in the school system and they'll be told something along the lines of, well, you're like the only one that complained about this. And sometimes they don't realize the parents are all talking to each other. It's like, no, actually there's 10 other moms and dads that are concerned about this too, right? So find like-minded folks. And then, you can show up at Board of Education meetings, show up at the budget hearings. We are spending almost $1 billion a year just in the operating budget. That's what was proposed this year. And, with all that spending, our SAT scores as Frederick County are below the national average. And that's crazy that we're spending so much, and other systems across the country are spending less and getting much better results. So something's not quite right with what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think too, and even when I was interviewing a lot of the candidates before the last election, one of the concerns, the questions that was raised was that it was almost $1 billion, even then, 980 million, I think. And when you're not getting results, the one thing I know for sure, because if you look at school districts like in New Jersey and Baltimore, they're spending a ton of money.
Yeah.
Spending a ton of money per student
Yeah.
and getting terrible results. And
Yes.
we seem to be falling in line with that. What do you think that the biggest issue is with that? I mean, I have my ideas that it gets gone into the black hole that is at the corner of Southeast Street and Carroll Street or whatever, South Street. I'm not really sure though.
It depends on the subject. So just to take the math, because I raised the algebra scores, a lot of the problem is that we are choosing to try to teach too many topics per year in all the grades leading up to algebra and in the algebra course itself. So what other countries do that have successful math programs is focus on a smaller number of topics per year that are truly mastered. And then that way, the next year, you're not reteaching, 40 topics that you skimmed through and kids only got half of them. They actually have all 20 topics that you taught, and they really know them, and they're ready for the 21st, 22nd, 23rd topic. So that's number one, is to do that. And to give you an idea of what the effects of that are, so in the nation of Singapore, which is the top achieving country in the world for math, their average student, so if you put them in the United States school system, an average student in Singapore would be in the top 14% of math students. So think about that disparity, how far behind we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see a lot of these school systems in other countries, especially a lot of the Asian countries, who are excelling in so many ways. Like there's still physical education, and kids are learning other skills while they're at school, and they're eating healthier lunches. And I don't know really where the holdup comes, other than I know it is a very big bloated system that is very hard to turn. It's like a barge, and you just can't make a quick U-turn. It just takes so long to get, and you got to get all these people on board with that. So I believe that's why a lot of people have just given up and formed co-ops and homeschool and private schools, because it's just, you feel defeated, I think, a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the union is a huge problem, right? So if you want to get anything done, you got to have the union's blessing. The union has lobbyists in Annapolis. They're the ones that push this blueprint program that's going to financially bankrupt the state or result in taxes. Looks like the way it's going is lots more taxes, 1.6 billion. And that's just the next year. So it's going to get worse. And they have allowed local districts now to start taxing locally, because they shifted some of the costs that they would normally have borne for teachers' pensions and other benefits to the local districts and said, it's your problem now, but you can raise taxes too. So we're unfortunately in this death spiral of taxes, which we've seen happen in other states where, Virginia can get this job done better than we do for less money. Why would I live in Maryland? Because I can move just across the river to Virginia and get higher SAT scores on average, higher everything, better teacher salaries, but still less spending per kid. So why would I stay here and be overtaxed, right?
Yeah, it is really a tough one, and we're losing a lot of great teachers to other counties. I feel like it's a top-heavy budget, but I have not looked through the budget at all, but you just have to look at some of the salaries that are downtown, and it's bloated. It's not trickling down, certainly even to the teachers aides, the people in the actual schools, and definitely not to the students.
Oh, 100%.
When did you start? I mean, I remember hearing your name with Frederick Classical Charter School way back in the day when you guys were, I believe, just petitioning to allow that school to happen. And what got you involved in education here in Frederick County?
Sure. It started when I was living in Montgomery County. My wife started out as a teacher there, and she was looking at her math curriculum and saying, there's not a lot of math in this. And I started looking at the science, and I said, there's not a lot of science in this. And that's what started my interest. This was 20 some years ago. And I couldn't believe. So I started talking to the school officials there. And I said, well, you have science that doesn't have a lot of science content in it. I must be missing this. It must be somewhere else. Like, this is your online thing. Like, no, that's what we teach. And I'm like, well, so I reeled off 5 or 10 topics that other schools taught other places. I said, usually these kids would learn like Celsius, Fahrenheit, started listing it. And they're like, oh, no, we don't do that. We're into conceptual learning. What do you mean conceptual learning? Well, like the Music Man, where they have the think method. Remember that old film where they don't actually learn to play the instruments, but they get the concept of it? That was kind of what they were doing for math and science. It was all about the concept. So and that's what launched me into it.
That is really crazy. How so 20 years later, what are your thoughts about what is going on in Frederick County?
I mean, it's the same old. They talk about change a lot, but they're not. They say every year we don't have enough money, but then they increase the budget higher than the rate of enrollment and inflation combined. They've done this for decades. So it doesn't make any sense. You can't make the claim that you don't have enough money. We spend more than all but one country, the United States does, per people and overall. And there's no way that they can claim that they don't have enough money and Maryland's on the higher end of American spending. So there's just no excuse for it. Bottom line is a lot of this is formed in education schools. They teach them very fanciful, trendy ideas about teaching and learning. So instead of teaching them like scientifically based reading instruction that does phonics and many other things, but phonics is kind of one of the key elements, they teach them this whole language approach and this balanced literacy approach that doesn't work. Now, Maryland has fortunately said, we're going to change that, but you still have teachers that, they've been doing it for a while and don't want to change, and they're here in Frederick County. So it's a bit of a battle.
Well, all I got to say is, parents out there, you should open your eyes and attend some of these school board meetings, hear what is being put out there, talk to other parents. You can love the school your kids are in. Your kids can be very, very successful. But at the end of the day, if they're not learning what they need to be successful post year 12, then that's a bad time to discover that they haven't learned what they need. So I say get involved, start at your local school level, PTA, volunteer, be in the classroom, listen to what's happening. I guarantee you, as soon as you step foot in that school, you will hear things that you never knew about. And you have to advocate for your child. If your child is struggling, do not sit back and wait for somebody to contact you. Get on it right away. Again, every day that you wait is really harming your child in the sense that they're not getting what they need. And FCPS needs to provide that. So that's my little soapbox. But if you want, I will make sure we get you Tom's details. He's great to advocate. He's a great sounding board, and he's very involved, as you can tell, the last 20 years here in Frederick County, and hopefully for a long time to come. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me. We really enjoyed it and happy to talk with anybody.
Ah, yes. I love when people get involved. As I said, sometimes it just takes those people who want to do it. All right, that is it for us today. Enjoy your day. And let's get out there and, well, before I say that, go Terps. Now let's get out there and let's be great.